and welcome to the Traveling Knitter channel. This is I always pause because I have to think about what month it is. This is the February episode where I talk about the things that I have knit, crafted in February. Before we jump in, I just want to say, just like most YouTubers or whatever will say, thank you so much for all of the new subscribers. This last month has been quite exciting. There's a lot of new faces, and that makes me really happy. So thanks everyone for joining, and also thanks for the people who've been here for years and years and years. I appreciate all of you guys. So let's jump in. What have I been knitting, and what promises did I make in the last episode that I did not fulfill? Because yeah, there are some. So first thing, the finished objects that I have are basically things that I did not talk about in the last episode. So I finished a pink balaclava, which I'll put a picture of. I just made it up. This was knit out of loops and thread Charisma in a pink color, which is a worsted weight, and I think I cast on 96 stitches, knit 1 by 1 ribbing until I felt like that is where the eye hole would be, and then I cast off maybe 30 stitches. I didn't do half because like your eyes are in the front of your face, not on the side, so to me it didn't make sense to cast off half because then you'd have like such a gap over here. So I want to say I like split it into thirds and then knit a bit more in my 1 by 1 and then started a crown decrease. And this was just a random gift for one of my coworkers. We'd been in a meeting and she had mentioned how she could really do with a balaclava. And so I was like, oh, I'll make you one. You know, as long as you're okay with it potentially not fitting, because I'm just like, you know, I just made it off the top of my head. So yeah, I made that, brought it into work, and it was appreciated, which always makes me feel good. I love gift knitting. I really like gift knitting. I think half of what I do ends up being gift knits. So I really enjoy it. So I was really pleased that someone wanted a balaclava. And if I had infinite time, I would make stuff for all my coworkers. I'd make stuff for their kids. I love knitting. And I think I would assume everybody that's watching this can attest they also love knitting. So I made that balaclava, and then I knit and finished the antler toque, which is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. And I knit this out of Madeline Tosh? Is that what I used? It's a monthly colorway, something to do with like sushi, color of the month. Is this Madeline Tosh? It's a worsted weight. I want to say it's Mad Tosh. That's really crappy that I cannot remember, but anyway, here it is. And this is a shop sample because I'm teaching a class on cables, and I thought, why not learn on an item that you would want to keep than like a block or something. So that's that. I knit the adult small, and I have a small head, so it fits. I knit to pattern. I went down a needle size by like 0.5 millimeter from what the pattern says for both the ribbing and the body. I don't know if it's that important to provide knitting needle size because everyone's gauge is different, and also the sun is like blinding today. We'll get into the weather at the end of the podcast, but there you go. I made a hat, and because it is superwash, you know, it's going to be a bit floppier, but gorgeous. This is a free pattern. If you have not heard of Tin Can Knits, go check them out. I would assume most everyone has, but in case, Tin Can Knits, they do a ton of patterns. A lot of them are free. A lot of their patterns are like sized from like infant to extra, like 5XL or something. So it's a lot of sizes for the pattern that you get. They also have their own app. So if you do not use Ravelry, but you still want a digital, like you still want to access patterns digitally, they do have their own app with their patterns on the app, and you can narrow down. So like if you picked that you wanted to knit the antler toque, you could select the size you want to knit, and it'll reformat the pattern so that you're only provided the information for your size. So if you like that style, you can use their app to do that. And those are the two finished objects, because yeah, what you're not seeing is a pair of socks and a sweater. But it's okay. Progress was made on all of them. So let's leave the socks for the end, because we're gonna continue picking sock yarn, even though we're clearly not finishing socks. But that's okay. Let's talk sweaters. So the Azalea pullover sweater by Knits by Giselle. I was going so strong on this, and then in my last episode I talked about how I wanted to knit on every single knitted project that I currently have active. I was successful on that front, and so by doing that, it meant that I had to take a break. But I do not have much more knitting to do. So here it is. Yes, this is the front. So I have the entire body done. I have a sleeve done. And okay, in this lighting, yep, you can absolutely tell where I changed colors. I know. Thank you so much for everyone's really nice comments. But it's visible. It's right here. Right? So I was knitting it, and then, obviously I was knitting it, and then I started switching every other, and then I went completely with that new color. It's there, it's noticeable, but it's fine. It is a better blend than the bottom. Honestly, in this light, it's not as bad. So there you go. She's got a sleeve, a very bulky sleeve, which is very fun. This is definitely going to be a big oversized sweater. And it does look pretty complicated. So it's the same on the front and the back pattern wise, but you can see that the front is definitely dropped. It's really interesting in that your shoulder seams are on the back here. So if I turn it around, you can see my shoulder seam is back here, which I mean, for me, that's unique. And I guess if I hold it with my shoulder seam up, this sun, I need to close the curtain, the shades. Hopefully that's not annoying or too dark, because this is all that there is. I have a ring light and my overhead light is on. This is it, guys. Anyway, so if I hold it where the shoulder seam is, you get that drop, but I don't know if that's how it's gonna sit on me. But anyway, there it is. So if I had all of the yarn in the same dye lot for this project, I would have definitely done the neckline already, but because I don't, I'm using up the last of my original color dye lot. And so I'd split that into 25 grams. So it's 25 and 25 for this. And then I have one more full skein of the new dye lot. And then I have scraps. So I'm pretty much going to use every single bit of this yarn, which feels great. So I'm very excited about that. Some additional information about the sizing, if you're curious. I only have 5%. Yikes. Okay, so again, the yarn that I'm using is Drops Air, which is a blown yarn. It is very similar to Knit Picks Wonder Fluff, if you have knit or you've used that. My preference between the two is Wonder Fluff. Wonder Fluff is more consistent, I found. With the Drops Air, I get into patches of just tubing and no fluff, which is annoying. So Wonder Fluff, I've never run into that issue, and I've knit several things out of Wonder Fluff. This is my first Drops, and both the dye lots I've had that issue. But I like the Drops colorways better. The last I checked, Wonder Fluff doesn't really come in neutrals. They're all like colorful colors, whereas Drops Air had, there's some colorful things, but there was more neutral options. So if you find a colorway that you like and it's in both Wonder Fluff and Drops, personally, I would recommend the Wonder Fluff over the Drops. But I do believe Drops is a bit cheaper, but both of them are very reasonably priced. So the gauge is 16 stitches over 30 rows on the B stitch specifically. And I got that using a 5.5 millimeter needle. And then the ribbing, I just went down to a 4 millimeter. The size that I'm knitting is an M, which has a bust circumference of 47.5 inches, which is 121 centimeters. And the length is supposed to be 22 3/4 inches. I think I went to 23 inches or 24. I kept going a bit more just to make it a little bit longer. And for reference, I am, I think right now, a 34B, I think I am right now. It fluctuates between a 32A and a 35B. Completely fluctuates. Plus, I've said this before, it like depends on what you're wearing. Like I have some really padded bras, and like right now I have I've got a sports bra, so there's 3 layers of like fabric around my boobs, plus the cardigan, which I didn't talk about. This is the Savion by Yarn Flakes or Audrey Borrego. It is a cardigan made out of MCN, an MCN fingering base from Hey Sister Yarn Co. So that was the Azalea sweater. And my needle is right there on my sleeve. And I've got little gingerbread men, little gingerbread people on my needle tips. Okay. Next up in the sweater category. Not you. Oh, am I missing? Am I missing a sweater? Am I missing? Oh no, it's right here. Okay. Here is, okay, almost, the stitches were almost off. I should put stoppers on this guy. This is my fluffy sweater that has my hair on it. This is my Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Maed Designs, and I was previously up here and I knit all of this, which is, I feel like a lot. Like, you saw what I did on that sweater. I did all of this. I finished 2, you know, bigger than normal hats. I was on a roll in the shortest month of the year, even with its leap year. Okay, and I have moved my stitch marker, my progress keeper. This is an oldie. This is from the A Homespun House Harry Potter Yarn Club. Well, I am using 2 yarns, but alternating them because I don't like pooling, not for me. So I have an indie dyed yarn by Dye Mad Yarns, looks like this, and this is the National Bubble Tea Day. This is the Chester sock, which is a 75-25. So I have 3 skeins of those, and I'm alternating those while also carrying a mohair yarn. This is Rowan. There it is. It's Rowan Kitzel case in the 697 color, which I'm pretty sure was lavender or lilac. I'm not very far, but this has been enjoyable. It has lifted increases, whereas my azalea didn't really have any increases or decreases. This is like a raglan construction, so those are my increases, and those lifted increases look pretty good, and they're kind of fun. They're fun to do. I've got this in a Magner bag, which is a waxed canvas. Very nice. And a little bit of the stats about that sweater. I am knitting the size M, which is the 36 to 38 inch bust, with a finished garment measurement of 42 inches around. And my needles, I did, yeah. So the gauge that it's asking for is 18 stitches by 24. And on a 4.5 millimeter, I was getting 19 by 23, and I figured that was close enough. And it's, you know, slightly smaller, and that is my blocked measurement. So I just went up to a little bit of a larger size. Next sweater we'll talk about is the Wisteria, which is a test knit. This is in a bag that I got last year at YarnCon, which is a yarn festival in Chicago. I think it moves around, maybe, but like in the Chicago area. So this is a bag by Darn Yarn MM, and this also has a wax canvas, and it's got these cool witch boots on them. And this is, I said, a test knit. It's for Making Stories. And the two yarns that I'm using are both from, what are you? Durarum Natura. They're the yarn on my lips. In Albertine and Berenice. And the colors are Armoise or Armoise, Armoise. And what the heck, where's the other one? And Sage. I looked this up and I put it on the screen in the last episode. And it was like, was it a seed or something? I forget. There you go. These two colors create this fabric. Very pretty. And here's where I am. This is a raglan construction, and it's gonna have a peplum, but the main detail are the raglan stitches. Can you see that? It looks like a leaf. These are a bitch to make. I'm not enjoying it, which sucks. So, yeah. You're doing a knit 5 together, and it's very difficult. I've tried it a couple different ways, including using a crochet hook, and the best thing that I found is just your 5-stitch cast on that you're doing, or your 5-stitch increase. You just make it super loose. That's my tip. So this is going to be in, gosh, is it the fall Making Stories? I'll have it on the screen for which Making Stories this will be in. But I think it's going to be really, really, really pretty. But I am not enjoying the knitting process with that part of it. It's not fun. It's not pleasant. The yarns, I like the colors that I got. This yarn is interesting. This is 55% kid silk, or super kid mohair, 25% silk, and 20% wool. And you can really tell that this is thicker, and at some parts of it, the mohair loops around as like similar like boucle. I don't think you're gonna be able to tell. Probably not, but I found a part where the mohair is looping on. Probably not, but believe me, it's there. It's happening. So while I'm knitting it, every now and then I'll like, oh, boucle. It's not boucle, but it has that like very, very tiny resemblance to it. So that is Wisteria by, is there a name on my copy? Oof. It does not appear to have a designer name on my test knit document. Okay, there we go. By Agata Makiewicz? The name will be on the screen. I am knitting size 3, and there's a lot of finished measurement info, but your finished bust circumference is a 102 centimeter or 40-inch circumference, and they want you to have 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. Oh, I see a typo right off the bat. The inch conversion is wrong. The sizing jumps are interesting. I think that's maybe why I went with the 3. Because the size 2, there's no, I'm pretty sure that's 0 inches of positive ease. And then this, obviously I don't fit in the size 1. So I'm gonna be at like 4 to 6 inches of positive ease, which this is a peplum. It could look good, it could look too big, but we'll see. So yeah, that is my test knit. And in a perfect world, this will be finished in March because my deadline is April. Then lastly an update. I did frog my Joji Locatelli cabled sweater jacket, all of the lights, because I think my gauge is going to be different. And so I will be recasting that on, preferably in March. We'll see. Definitely April, preferably March. But I'll be recasting that and redoing a swatch because I don't think I did a swatch the first time. And so I'm gonna be good and do a swatch. And I'm actually enjoying knitting swatches more and more. So I don't feel bad about undoing all of it. And I wasn't that far, so no big. And I also wanna work off of a pattern that's digital rather than a paper pattern, because I find that I write more notes digitally than I do on the paper. So I did do that. And then the last wearable garment is my Solaris top, which I did a lot of knitting on this. I just really got excited about this project. I mean, I'm excited about everything, but I got inspired to work on this because of the weather. So here is my Solaris. There it is. Look at that twisted ribbing. It's full twisted ribbing. It's twisted on the back. It looks so good. And I think the colorway isn't pulling weird. It looks like the orange. The orange is what jumps out in person. Like on camera, I'm seeing like a grayish blue. I have to hold it this way to do this. Like right here. Ooh, can you see what I'm seeing? This like grayish blue cloud. You don't see that in person. Yeah, you don't see that in person, but on the camera you're seeing it. So in person, the orange is what jumps out the most. And I feel like the orange is equally dispersed on both sides. And it's looking pretty good in the center. So again, on camera, it almost looks like I made a stripe of blue. You're not seeing that in person. It's so funny about that. So I'm so excited for this. So the way that the Solaris top works is that, so you're knitting it flat because you're gonna be adding a button band to the sides, and then you'll have dainty little buttons, and then you'll button it closed. And this twisted rib is what is gonna come up the top of the front. And then there are eyelets right above the lace, right there. And you're gonna have an eye cord through the eyelets so you can cinch it in, or not cinch it if you don't want to. And it has a very low open back. I think it's gonna be gorgeous. I'm a little concerned that the straps might not stay put, but my idea is, if it doesn't stay put, is I'm gonna just use boob tape and just put a little bit of tape on my shoulders to keep the straps up. So that's that. Very, very pleased with this. I think it's just gonna be so pretty. I'm really excited about this. The needles I'm using, look at these needles. So these are the copper, what is that driftwood brand that really wasn't ever sure how to pronounce it? Leica. So this is the copper Leica needles. You see that, like, do you see that hideous tarnishing? So when you're not using them, they get really dark, but then you use them and then they turn this bright copper. So this one, I was showing this to my friend, this one, you see it doesn't have that kind of gross look to it. I took a polishing tool to this one to show. And the tip here, this just naturally goes away because you're rubbing fabric on it the whole time. The needles are beautiful until they're ugly. I like having them, but if I had no needles and I was on a mission to buy interchangeables again, I would not buy these because, like, they look dirty. They look dirty. The yarn I'm using, here's that cake, is Nice and Knit in a 75/25 in the colorway Crab Cakes. Why am I not seeing? Okay, yeah, Crab Cakes. This was originally purchased at a yarn store in Dayton, Ohio called Strings Attached that is no longer a brick and mortar. They closed to be solely online, but I don't know if they still exist, but that is where I bought that yarn. And I don't think Nice and Knit dye anymore either. I'm very excited for this. I'm excited for everything. Probably gonna repeat that for everything, but this will be fun to have for the summer. Next up, shawls. I knit on all of the shawls. Oh, I need to change where my progress keeper is. Ooh, I almost just lost all my stitches there. And I don't have a progress keeper on this guy. Okay, there it is. I know I made progress on this. I worked on this one day. So I think I knit maybe this much. Not a ton, but I did knit on this. So this is the Italian summer scarf. Italian knitter scarf. I think it's by the Italian knitter, and it's the Italian summer scarf. It's nice. It's like a really good gift knit. And the yarn is Lion Brand Shawl in a Ball. I want to say the Moonstone colorway. Very pretty. It's a combination of acrylic and stellina and wool, I believe. And this is in a Freckled Whimsy project bag. Inside of the Birch Grove bag, I have my Moon Cloud shawl, which is my Advent yarn from 2023. I finished up my color one. So there's the first color, and then it blends into the second color. And I am now at the eyelet section without the increase, doing it solidly in the orange color, which is very exciting. So you can see that's where I was last time. So I was doing the striping. I am thrilled to not be increasing anymore, because now this becomes even more mindless. The Moon Cloud Shawl is a pattern by Artemis Yarns, and it is I'm not sure if they always sell it with their advent calendar. There are a couple options with it. You can do mini skeins, you can do full skeins like what I'm doing. I am using the singles. Here we go. Here's what I have left over of the green one in comparison to my sherbety orange. And then the next colors are that. So it'll be this one, then this one. And the colors are Sweetheart, Wisteria, which is the name of my pullover, and Blue Sky. The names of the colorways I already used. We have Soft Citrus for the green, and then Sunkissed for the sherbety color. The stitch marker came in, or the stitch markers came in the advent calendar. The Progress Keeper also came in the advent calendar, and the needle stoppers did as well. And it's all very on brand for Artemis Yarns, and they are an indie dyer out of France. I made some modifications to the pattern. Essentially what I wanted to do was make sure I used up all of the yarn that I could. And so I did some modification to the schematic, which you can kind of see. I adjusted it so it decreased here, and I added another, basically I add another chunk to the non-decreasing so that it would make the shawl or scarf symmetrical, and it would use up more of my very last or fifth skein. So the fifth skein in the original size, you're projected to use 34 grams. And I said, no way, Jose, I would like to use more of my fifth colorway. So I adjusted it, did some math. Basically I had to make sure that I didn't run out of color 4, and I shouldn't. I should be at, how much did I account for? I don't see my math, but I think I counted for 20 additional grams, which would put me at 98, which color 3 you're using 97. So, and even if it's not perfect, like you can just shorten it by a row. You're not really gonna notice that. So that's that. I'm knitting the largest size using the 5 skein fade variation, but I did adjust the size of the shawl to be even bigger. Another shawl that I'm working on is my Brioche Adventures, which is in my Vita Paradise Island bag. It's a collaboration with the Vita Lifestyle ice cream brand, which it's this. Vita Lifestyle, deliciously hand-dyed yarns, that brand. I got it at Cakepalooza last year. Cakepalooza 2023. Didn't do much in this, but I did knit one more color change section, and this one looks basically the same, but it is two different colors. They just happen to, I think one has a lime green base and the other one is a white base with the same speckles, so it just kind of looks the same. But there it is, Brioche Adventures. Not much to showcase. I did also adjust this. I think the original pattern had you do the repeat so that there were only 10 V's on your brioche. I think I went up to 16 because that's how much I could do and use up as much yarn as possible without running out. My first color, or my first the first section was an experiment because of, like, you don't immediately go into this section. There is some garter here that you're transitioning. So I think this is larger than this, and this is the section that determines how big all the other sections are, because this is the one where I was able to figure out how to maximize my yarn usage. So it's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yep, like I said, 16. So if you're curious, they are 20 gram minis. Is it 20 or is it 10? It's 20. I had to like squeeze it to tell if it was 20. So in case you're curious, I'm able to do 16 rows for my brioche to maximize usage of my 20 gram mini. And the leftovers are going into the back, so you can see, like, this is all I have left. I think it's 1 gram. There's my pink. That's all I got left, 1 gram. So I was kind of thinking what to do with these little bits, and I was wondering if I magic knotted all of them together and then held it with a white suri or a pink suri or something, if I could make a hat or a bow, like the Friday bow by Petite Knit. So just staying back here. Blanket update. We got work done on the blanket. So here's where we were. Finished this, added this, started another section of the gray. And this is gonna be a big blanket. So right now it is almost my wingspan. And this is the halfway mark. And so I'm repeating what I have done. And that'll be 1 strip, and that's gonna be taller than me. And I weighed and I calculated, I'm gonna be able to make 65 of these gray sections. And I'm gonna have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 8, and then 7. So it's gonna alternate 8 gray and then 7 gray. So I'll have 15 gray, which means dude, there's 15, there's 30. Basically as wide. So it's only gonna get this wide. So I need to think about that, what I'm gonna do. Or I can switch it up and just make it a long, like a wide blanket that just isn't very deep. I don't wanna go back on the pattern I've decided on, and I feel like I mean, I guess I could just do this repeat and not go back to changing the colors, but that's, I don't know, I feel like it's too small if I do that. So I would need to add another color. And I guess I could, I have this acrylic yarn that I was saving for making another baby blanket. I don't know, because I already have blue in here. So I'm not sure. I'm kind of, you know what I will probably do? I need to figure out how many of the V or the little sections I can make using these guys. And then if I'm gonna run out of these at the same time as the gray, then I think I'll pick out some other colors and then add another section. And if I don't, and it's mainly the gray I'm gonna run out of, I may look to see if I can find something similar, because I don't think they sell this sport yarn anymore. So we'll have to see. I really don't want to buy yarn for a blanket that I planned out with at this point it's just stash yarn that I would like to get out of stash and use up. And lastly, the socks. I've got the Forest Trail socks, and my blockers are just too far away. Where the heck are they? I could have sworn I just had them. Oh, yeah. They're too far. They're up there. I can't get them. Anyway, here's one of those socks. I've got the Kitchener done. It looks weirdly long, but I think it's because I think it's because of the color breakup of the cuff and the leg. So here they are. These are going to one of my friends for a birthday gift. And the other one, I am currently on the heel flap. So there that is. Just got to do the heel flap, and then the foot, obviously, you know how sock works. And that's going to go so much faster because you are just straight knitting for so much of it. Interesting with the sock. Ow, just put it down and stabbed myself with one of my DPNs. Another reason why I hate DPNs. Ouchies. The toe construction that they had you use was a wedge toe, so it's decrease every other all the way to the end. I don't think I've ever done that before. It's always been a rounded toe, so interesting. But yeah, it's very much a diamond. Well, you know, sort of a diamond, a shaved off diamond. This is in a bag I sewed myself during the pandemic. This is based off of the Fringe Supply Co. bag, which I love their bags. This is using a very light cotton canvas. And then we have a really, really good sewing fabric store here for like quilts and stuff. And they have like these leather bits that you can get, and it's where I got the fabric from. I've since found a lot of that fabric, not that specific one, but that style of fabric at Joann's, and I bought a lot for sewing sessions that I always envision myself having, but then I don't. Like, I did not sew a single thing last year. That's not true. I sewed a tiny bit for my boss's Christmas present, which was a Chanel inspired bag, but it was just a box that we put stuff in. Then the other socks, and did I say that was the Forest Trail socks from Lina issue 2, which I happen to have right here. 52 Weeks of Socks, Forest Trail by Barbara von Stieglitz. And in a better yarn choice, they look like that. The other socks, we have the Avena socks. This is the only project I did not work on. It was next up, so next up to be worked on. And this is using a really weird yarn, a cotton haiku yarn. It's a cotton nylon. It's like thinking of all the words because it is super, I think you can even see that it's like stretching. It's super stretchy. Then we have technically January sock that I did, I think 2 rounds on. Right there, you can barely see the pattern. I'll include it on the screen because I don't remember. And this is using a Homespun House yarn. And then the February cast on, I cast on, and this is all I did. And this is, I keep having to clear things from the memory because I'm recording in 4K 60 frames per second, and it just eats up the space. And I still have all my footage from my new LA trip that I want to put into a montage for myself. So, okay, real quick, the last sock here, Ryan's yarn. It's this gorgeous peachy orange with purple specks, and that is also from Lina. The pattern that I am using is Ananas, which I'm pretty sure it's ananas, or is it bananas? Ananas is banana. Where the heck is it? There it is. Yeah, ananas, but it's a textured nod to Hot Summers, the Tropics, 1970s kitsch, and Bailey Jacobs' grandmother, affectionately known as Nana, and Bailey Jacobs is the designer, and that's what they'll look like. So to me, that means banana, but I don't think that's what the designer was going for. And that is everything on my needles. That took a really long time. Let's real quick go to what have I purchased or received. And I was at Joann's and they had this big twist yarn on sale, and I thought this would make a really cute baby sweater or baby outfit, so I grabbed 2 skeins of this. I didn't need it, but it was really cute and it was on sale. They're 240 yards each for 100 grams. It's a worsted weight, 100% acrylic. I got, from my mom, I got a Madtosh singles in the Stupid Cupid colorway, which is a purple and blue, super pretty. Then I received my A Homespun House Patreon yarn. This is the December sock set called Cornelia Street. And the minis I received are Festival of Lights, Galileo, and Frost. My big yarn purchase though, which I am now noticing is not in the room, I made an unnecessary but necessary yarn purchase with Hue Loco. I got Take Flight, the Owl color selection, which is January. And I think I'm going with, and I got a full set in DK, and I think I'm gonna go with Linen as my main colorway. This is going to be my Sweet Shops blanket. So I think I'm gonna go with Linen as my main color. And I might add a couple more solids to the mix. I'm thinking of maybe this like yellowy ochre color, and then potentially some sort of brown, like a dark brown. The solids that are in here already, there's this one, which I think is called Lace or Antique. Then there is Linen. There is Mauve. And Earl Grey are the colors. Purchased with a purpose. I should have waited, but I had been watching. I wanted the DK, I wanted the full set, and I'd been watching the inventory and they were down to only one left. And so I waited as long as I could and I bought it. I only got one additional main color because I was kind of like on the fence on if that was the main color I was gonna go with. So there we have it. And I believe that is all the yarn that has come in my way. Yeah. So I thought I'd wrap up this very long episode with a quick chat about life. Again, hello to all the new people that have joined. Thank you so much again. There's plenty of stuff in the backlog. I've been podcasting, I think, for 7 years or 8 years. So, yeah, there's a lot back there. Obviously things change as you grow, and yeah, I started this in my early 20s and I rewatched one of my earlier episodes and I'm shouting even more than I do now. I just, naturally I talk loud and I talk a lot. But anyway, if you're gonna go that far back, please be kind. You know, it's been a long time. And I didn't hold things up to the camera for a very long time. I was recording on an iPad, the OG iPad Air. So, you know, let's be kind there. Or just don't go back. Anyway, this morning, I'm recording on a Wednesday. I was woken up at 5:15 in the morning from the tornado sirens. Yes, that's right. So there have been 2 confirmed tornado touchdowns. Let me reiterate, it's February. It's February and I live in Ohio and we had tornadoes. So I woke up to tornado sirens, and if you have been watching the podcast for a while, you may remember that I lived in Dayton and the Memorial Day tornadoes happened overnight and they went over my apartment. And my apartment was okay. I was on the main floor. My apartment is made out of bricks, which is unique in the US. And I did not lose power, unlike all of my neighbors, actually. I was, weirdly enough, one of the only people in my complex that didn't lose power for some reason, or AC. I feel like mine was the only AC unit that was not knocked off the building. But the apartment next to mine, so the apartment complex next to mine, the second story was completely leveled. So they were gone. And then a lot of the homes that were right there were also demolished. So when I woke up this morning and heard the tornado sirens, I was awake immediately and, on my phone fumbling for a radio station, because my personal opinion, I do not think the weather alerts are detailed enough. It was multiple counties were under a tornado warning, which means a tornado has been spotted or a funnel cloud has been spotted. So funnel cloud is what then becomes a tornado. Does everyone know this? I don't know. Do tornadoes exist in, I don't know what the region of where tornadoes do and do not exist. They exist in a lot of the United States. I also work in insurance now, so it's like more part of my world now. But anyway, so woke up, immediately had my phone, trying to figure out where it was. I went out onto my porch, looking around. So it was in this high 60s yesterday into this morning, then with the tornadoes. So then I've been awake. So I just decided to start working at 6 a.m. Because I was already awake. And then at around 2:30, it started snowing, almost whiteout condition snowing. None of it stayed on the ground because it happened too fast and it wasn't cold enough, but so warm, a convergence of warm and cold to create tornadoes and thunderstorms, to then looking outside my window thinking, wow, it's like a blizzard out there. It's crazy. It's been a crazy day. It's been a weird weather day. So it's going to get into the 20s. So it's going to be below freezing tonight. That's a 40-degree difference in less than 24 hours. It's weird, guys. It's weird. Bananas. So that's been today. It's been quite exciting. Yeah, so it did take me back to that tornado, because it happened at night. It was a similar feeling of you can't see anything, but you hear the sirens, the wind is picking up, it's slightly hailing, and you're kind of like, do I go somewhere? Because I'm on the 5th floor of an apartment. The last time I was on the main floor and I couldn't get more central. This was as central as it was going to be. So with this one, my game plan, honestly, was going to go into the stairwell, which would have taken me longer than 5 seconds, which is how long it took for the tornado from the point of me being 100% positive that there was a tornado right there to me getting into to the tornado actually being there was about 5 seconds. So that's kind of like my timing. If you think that's stupid, that's fine. You don't need to leave a comment about that. But yeah, so there you go. Thinking of how to survive. It's not that I'm scared. It's just, be aware. Be aware of your surroundings, even at 5:15 in the morning. Yeah. So that's that. This weekend I'm going to Logan, Ohio, which is it's like Wayne National Forest, Hocking Hills area, and it's a place that a lot of Ohioans go on vacation when they want to go to a cabin. The hiking isn't like hiking. You're kind of just walking around in the woods on very clear paths. So nothing spectacular there, but the best part is we're going to read. It's a reading retreat. My friends and we are just going to be reading, talking about the books we're reading, eating some food. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I love reading so much. Oh, I love hobbies. The people who don't have hobbies, like, I'm sad for you. Where's your joy? What do you find joy in life if you don't have hobbies? Hobbies are the best. They're the best. You know? They're so fun. Love hobbies. Love doing things. Apart from knitting, do you guys have hobbies too? Like outside of knitting? How about this? Outside of fiber crafts, what are your hobbies? I love reading, and I middling enjoy working out. I don't know. I like the sense of accomplishment that it has. I like video games. I love board games. I like journaling. So many hobbies. What hobbies do I not enjoy? Cooking. I always think I'm going to enjoy the cooking process, but then I don't. I would rather just pick all the things out and then somebody else cook it for me, and then I applaud their efforts in the cooking. I like baking more than I like cooking, but even I used to like baking more than I do now. Now I'd rather just close my eyes and go cupcake, and then it's just there. Does that mean I'm getting lazier? Or that I'm more concerned with my time on this earth? If you enjoy reading, don't calculate the average books you read a year and then multiply it by the amount of years you have left with your estimated lifespan, because that is a number that is way too low for me compared to all the books I want to read and all the books that I know that'll come out in the future. Horror. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, I hate to say it, but give it a thumbs up, like it, tell somebody about it. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.